Rahman Rahim, Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. The last we discussed was where Musa alayhi salam then went with his 70 persons, chosen persons, influential persons to meet Allah Ta'ala, to receive the laws, to receive the Sharia, and then they want to do listen, they want to hear Allah Ta'ala. When they heard Allah Ta'ala, then they were not satisfied, then they want to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Ta'ala struck them with an earthquake, and Allah Ta'ala also struck them with a loud sound. Musa alayhi salam made dua that Allah Ta'ala give them life again for a second time because he feared that how will he answer to his people when he come back? What answer will he give to them? So he said, Ya Allah Ta'ala, if you wanted to kill them before, you would have killed them long time. But it seems like you didn't want to kill them, you just want to teach them a lesson. And then he made that dua, and Allah Ta'ala gave them life again for the second time. And then there was a punishment for them that some of them had to kill some. That is where we are. So he made a dua, وَاكْتُبْ لَنَا فِي هَذِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ إِنَّا هُدْنَا إِلَيْكَ. We discussed that also. So this last thing we discussed, وَاكْتُبْ لَنَا فِي هَذِي الدُّنْيا, record for us in the dunya goodness, and in the akhirah, إِنَّا هُدْنَا إِلَيْكَ, that verily we were, إِنَّا هُدْنَا, we have turned towards you, right? Inna hudna ilayk, we turn towards you. Then the next verse we need to discuss is this. قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء, that my punishment, أصيب به, I afflict, أصاب يصيب أصيب, I afflict with it who I wish. ورحمتي, and my mercy, وسعت كل شيء, has encompassed everything. فسأكتبها, I will record it, للذين يتقون, from those who fear, ويؤتون الزكاة, right? So he's saying ووسعت كل شيء فسأكتبها, I will record my mercy for those who fear Allah Ta'ala and discharge their zakah, والذين, and those who in my signs they believe. So this verse here, we discussed most of it, just this last but قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء ورحمتي وسعت كل شيء. Yeah, this one, azab. As for my punishment, I afflict with it whom I will, and my mercy extends to everything. So I shall write it for those who fear and pay zakat, and those who do believe in our verses. That is, though all the disobedient deserve the punishment of Allah, but out of His mercy, which encircles everything, even the wrath of Allah Ta'ala, He afflicts his punishment he afflicts by only on a few whom he wills. His mercy is as great as it includes everything, even those who rebel. Allah Ta'ala rebel against Allah and deny him has shown some of his mercy, though it is limited to this world alone. With his mercy so covering includes even the disobedient, he will surely write it for those who deserve it by fearing Allah Ta'ala, paying zakat. Then the Prophet Musa was given the news of his exceptions. Okay, so what I'm saying in this verse here, see, قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء, that my punishment I afflict with it whoever I wish. Right? So Allah Ta'ala, first part of the hadith of the verse is saying, Allah Ta'ala is saying, look here, it is my prerogative. I can punish who I want to. Although I've promised that I will punish the disobedient people, etc., etc., and I will reward the good people. But at the end of the day, it's my prerogative. I will punish whoever I want to. Then he says, وَرَحْمَتِي وَسِعَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ, and my mercy, it encompasses everything. So what is meant by this here? What is meant by this here is that look here, I could have punished everybody immediately, and I could have given them the most the most horrendous azab, the most destructive azab, but I'm not in a hurry to punish people. And that too, even, I punish them only after repeatedly warning them. And that also, some of them I punish and some I don't punish. I don't punish the proud and arrogant people. And that too also, when I punish them, I could have created a worse and more severe punishment than that to punish them, but I don't do that. You understood that? So in that sense of the word, Allah Ta'ala shows mercy. So that is, though all the disobedient deserve the punishment. See, listen, I see. All the disobedient deserve the punishment of Allah Ta'ala. But out of His mercy, which encircles everything, because of the mercy of Allah Ta'ala, which encompasses everything, even the wrath of Allah Ta'ala. So even the mercy of Allah Ta'ala encompasses the wrath of Allah Ta'ala also, right? He afflicts with only a few whom He wills. He only punishes people that are totally stubborn, arrogant, whereas He could have punished every single person who done any small wrong thing. You understand what I'm saying? You following? Allah Ta'ala could have, the moment you engage in the slightest disobedience of Allah Ta'ala could have punished you immediately without giving you any respite. But I told you two things. He delays his punishment, that's the one. Number two, also, He only punished certain people, arrogant people. So you see how His mercy is more than His punishment. You follow what I'm saying? You sure? So His mercy is as great. His mercy is as great as include everything. Even those who rebel against Him in time are shown some of His mercy. Though it is limited to this world alone. And yeah, and another way we can say Allah Ta'ala's mercy is shown to them. They look at a lot of people do wrong things in this dunya, right? But they get away with it. They're not punished in this dunya. Like you see, like people committing genocide, killing, murdering, but they don't get punished in this world. They only get punished in the akhirah. So in that sense of the world, also they are shown mercy in this dunya. Are you with me? Right. You will surely write for it those right. The commentators have a varied opinion about the above interpretation of this prayer. The verse has no indication of the acceptance of his prayer in clear words, as in other cases, the approval of his prayer has been clearly mentioned. For example, the approval of his prayer has been mentioned in the words, قَدْ أُوتِيتُ سُؤْلَكَ يَا مُوسَى. Oh, Musa, you are given what you asked for. Is mentioned in another verse, Ujib da'watukuma, that your two's prayer has been answered. At this occasion, no mention of such approval has been made. Some commentators have therefore suggested that this prayer of the Prophet of Muslim was not accepted in favor of the Israelites, it was accepted in favor of the Muslim Ummah. The author of Ruh Mani, however, said it to be a remote possibility. Okay, so what are they doing here? They're saying, see, look here, follow. See the last verse he said, you said, وَاكْتُبْ لَنَا فِي هَذِي الدُّنْيا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً. There's a hidden thing, right? The Ibarat, إِنَّا هُدَنَا إِلَيْكَ. Verily, we turn towards you, right? So now, this year, this قَالَ عَذَابِي أُصِيبُ بِمَنْ أَشَاءُ وَرَحْمَتِي وَسَتْ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ. Is this an indication? What is Allah saying in this verse? That I punish whoever I want to, and my mercy encompasses whoever I want to. I explained you in detail what mercy encompasses. I told you, even though sometimes Allah Ta'ala punishes, but still, if you look at His mercy is more. Is this in relation to that verse there? Is it an acceptance of that dua or not? You understand what I'm saying? You following? Is this verse قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء ورحمتي وسعت كل شيء. I hope you're following nicely. Is this now an acceptance of that? Right? So I was telling you that if you look, commentators have varied opinion about the above interpretation of this prayer. So what is this azab? قال عذابي أصيب به من أشاء. The verse has no indication of the acceptance of his prayer in clear words, as in the other case of approval as President Kerry mentioned. Does this, what's the meaning? What's Allah Ta'ala saying this? Is he saying here that I've accepted that dua of yours? رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَارْحَمْنَا وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الْغَافِرِينَ وَاكْتُبْ لَنَا فِي هَذِهِ الدُّنْيَا. Is this an example, is an acceptance of that? Because if you look at the words, if you look at the meaning of this verse, it is a bit ambiguous. Like, you say, like, I'll give you a simple example. Maybe you made a mistake, right? So you came to the Ustad and said, please forgive me, I done this mistake, I was absent, I was late. So the teacher tells you, Inshallah, we look into the matter. We punish who we want to and we forgive who we want to. So that's a bit of an ambiguous response to your request, because we punish who we want to and we forgive who we want to. It means you done something wrong, we can punish you or we can forgive you. Same azab yusibu bihi man asha. But at the same time, we are very, very forgiving. Wa rahmati wasi'at kulla shay. Right? But it's not a clear acceptance of your request, and it's not a clear rejection of your request. Are you with me? You follow me? That is why we're saying commentators have varied opinions about the above interpretation of this verse. This verse is no indication of the acceptance of his prayer in clear words, as in other cases, the approval of his prayers is clearly mentioned. There are other places where Allah Ta'ala clearly said, would you like, when he said, Ya Allah Ta'ala, Fir'aun has been transgressing, etc., etc. There Allah Ta'ala clearly mentioned for example, the approval of his prayers. We mentioned the words, قَدْ أُوتِيتَ سُؤْلَكَ يَا Musa. Your question has been granted to you, O Musa. You are given what you asked for. Is mentioned in another verse. Ujibat da'watukuma. Your prayer has been answered. On this occasion, no mention of such approval has been made. Some commentators have therefore suggested that this prayer of the Prophet Muhammad was not accepted in favor of the Israelites, but rather it was accepted in favor of, in other words, this dua Musa alayhi salam made was accepted for the Ummah Muhammadiyah, not for Ummah Musa. You understood? I hope you're following. The correct interpretation, therefore, is that the prayer of Musa alayhi salam was comprised of two requests. The first was of mercy and forgiveness for those who were punished, and the second was for writing the good for him and his people, both in the world and in the hereafter. The acceptance of the first request is mentioned in this verse, while the answer to the second request is mentioned in the next verse. In response to his first request, he was told that Allah does not punish everyone who acts sinfully. He punishes. So he's saying, Allah Ta'ala says, look at that. So you look in the follow again. He said, Ya Allah Ta'ala, forgive my people for the sin that they done. They requested they want to see you and they worship the calf and all that type of thing. He's saying that request that my people must be given, it is that prayer is heard. And where is the prayer heard? It is heard here. Allah says, look here, we don't punish for every crime. We don't punish for every many crimes we overlook it. Many crimes we forgive it. So he's trying to say indirectly, look here, it's not necessary that we will punish them. Are you with me? So therefore these people shall not be punished. His mercy is great, it covers every creation of Allah Ta'ala. Even those who are punished are not completely deprived of his mercy. Since they would get harder punishment than they got. Allah Ta'ala has the power to do everything. And then the second was it part here, like Warhamna, and show mercy to us. Saying, yes, you are showing mercy. How are you showing mercy? Allah Ta'ala could have created a greater punishment for you, but he doesn't create a greater punishment for you. Right, okay, time is up. One is here. Now you will have your Mishkat number 2. Right, so there won't be Mishkat 1. There won't be Mishkat 1 today because Luqman is not here, right? So this will be Mishkat 2 and Mishkat 3. We'll stop there, inshallah. That's